jettisoned.
Hey there, this is the Small Stuff Podcast. My name is Kyle Roebuck. This is the intro. Let's start the show. I might have fucked that intro up, so you might have to fix that later.
Jesus.
Yeah, I was just like, you guys were talking, and I was like, boop, 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 record thing. I don't remember if I hit that one first or record first, so we might be missing the first second.
But we're good now.
I mean, I can send you the
Yeah.
We're good now.
You know how many times I told Josh earlier, he's talking about, should we formulate a plan for this? And he's like, because I might end up saying jettison a couple times again. And I was like, do you know how many times I've heard you say jettison? I've probably heard it about 40 times in the past week because I keep clicking past jettison to listen to the intro.
Where it just jettison?
It just jettison. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I'll put more sound bites in there eventually, but
just several sound bites.
I just like that one.
It's jettison over and over and over again.
Because I don't know, when I put it together, I was like, that sounds good.
Well, it's 100% wrong, and yet
correct.
And yet it sounds better than the correct way of saying it, so it works.
Well, jettison just means to like
propel forward, right?
No,
that's what we thought.
But thanks for joining.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining the wrong party.
That's what I don't remember what I meant. I just remember looking it up.
Yeah, I meant like it jetted, but I went a whole different route with it.
What does jettison mean? I know it doesn't mean propel forward, but so many people use it as propel forward.
Where's my phone? Oh, it's in my pocket. Duh.
We're
all sitting here with computers in our laps. It's like, what does jettison mean? By the way, guys, while they're looking that up, we've got Josh and Bryton here.
To throw or drop
yeah.
from an aircraft.
Oh,
so
wait, so you were you were saying jettison, like it jettisoned over here, it jettisoned over there.
All right, so if an aircraft is like flying somewhere and like they need to literally like drop something out, they shoot it out.
Yeah.
Or just
that's not how you were using it though.
No.
You were saying this tic tac jettisoned over here and then it jettisoned over there.
Like, doom, 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 doom.
Yeah, I knew what you meant.
Yeah.
But like it doesn't seem like that far off of a concept.
It's an aircraft term for something moving out of it fast, but I used it as it moving.
Yeah. You were like adjacently wrong.
Yeah, right.
Like,
right,
you know.
Because like it still could
which is still 100%
mean
wrong, but it works better.
But you're close. Yeah.
Like jettison just sounds right. Like when you said it, no one would have questioned it. Like no one would have been like, been like, man,
it sounds better than the right way of saying it, but it's wrong.
Yeah. Josh and Bryton are here.
Oh, hey.
I think I said that already, but
nice to meet you.
I think for the third time.
Third time for both of us. But
oh
fourth
yeah,
for Josh,
I guess it is a fourth for you.
First time on camera though. Well, second time on camera. The first one.
Second time on camera. First time released on camera.
Stay tuned for the uncut footage of us from like, what, a year ago at this point, almost?
Okay. If you want to put that in, go for it.
No, I was joking.
All right.
The footage probably doesn't even exist anymore.
No, I have it.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Am I your most frequent flyer?
Yeah. I think you're the only... Luke became the second return guest.
Third.
Actually, third. Because I had Brian on twice. What? Oh, sorry. No. I'm saying, like individually. I guess is what I meant. Brighton's never been here by himself.
Oh, that's
you know what I mean?
That's right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
I mean, I still count him as a guest, but whatever.
That's fine. I'm just don't want me here unless Josh is here.
Well,
I'm here for all the behind the scenes stuff. Yeah.
We're just gonna probably just bullshit for like an hour and a half or so. So if you're into that, hi, welcome. If you're not, just wait for the next episode that sounds a little smarter.
Or just stay and find out that we could talk about something extremely interesting and then we might miss it.
And it could be smart.
Yeah. It could be really
smart.
Yeah.
We could smart you guys.
Yeah.
You know that old saying?
I thought it was learn you.
Yeah.
I'm a learn you.
I'm gonna learn you something.
Nobody ever used to say smart you. That wasn't a thing a long time ago.
Well, it might have been a Nash County thing.
Strictly Nash County.
I definitely know the learn you because my grandparents did that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna learn you.
What were we talking about before I started recording?
Oh, Pilsner. We were talking about beer.
Beer. Before that, comics.
I was just enjoying you guys talking.
Oh yeah, so we were talking about like the difference between we were talking about lagers and how Budweiser is a rice water lager.
That's what I call it. That's not a proper term.
Yeah,
they use rice, and it's very watered down.
Did he just do a racism by accident?
I mean, it's an American company, so I don't think
I didn't know. I wasn't sure because the look on your face.
Did I just do a racism?
Yeah.
Is that what you?
Oh, yeah. Where Josh was like, I didn't say that.
No.
I was like, uh-oh.
Rice isn't a very common ingredient in the beers that most Americans know.
No.
However, it's one of the main ingredients in the beer that all Americans know. They just don't know that fact.
They just don't know that it's in there.
Isn't technically Budweiser now a German-owned company? Because didn't like a German company buy Busch?
Pretty sure it's Belgian.
Belgium. Okay. I knew it was a European country. I just can't remember off the top of my head.
It could. I can't remember for
Which
sure.
is extremely hilarious because it means a European country puts out the most American beer that exists.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes sense in terms of Budweiser and all those are literally one of the most like they're on top of their recipe so well, way beyond any standards that craft breweries that I love. Mm-hmm. They perfect it so well, but they're perfecting what I consider a pretty shitty beer. But like you can't find Budweisers that vary in taste.
No.
That is skill.
Yeah.
It's also money, but because the biggest difference is not only do they hire some of the best brewers ever to oversee the project, but then they know that they're going to sell, so they can produce so much of it that you don't get individual, like what whiskey refers to as like single batch or whatever. Mm-hmm. You don't get single batch Budweiser.
Sounds gross.
Because it could vary. So they make a bunch of batches, mix them, and you can never tell a difference. Because if there's the slightest variation in one batch, you're not going to realize it by the end because you're only getting, I'm making this number up, but like a 16th of that batch because it's so mixed in.
I wonder if
I love making up facts and words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't make it up. You can't have it all. I wonder if you had a Budweiser, I mean, obviously if you had a Budweiser that was unopened from like the 70s or something, it would probably taste like shit. But if you could get like a fresh one from then, like made with the
time travel, like if you could reach into a fridge and pull out a 70s Budweiser fresh out the shelf.
Yeah, so like with all of the ingredients from that time, including like the yeast, the air, the everything. It'd
definitely be different for sure.
Yeah, and I'm like, even if they haven't changed the recipe throughout the years, I wonder how drastically different it would be just based on environmental factors.
Right. It would have to be different, but I don't know. Because I think they are, again, I'm making up facts here. I don't think they've changed the recipe in a very long time.
Yeah. And it kind of like a lot of us like beer drinking snobs, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah, you've got that kind of bottle.
Yeah. Look at my nice fancy flip bottle.
I do love
that. In case
that
anybody wanted to see it, but Grolsch. I call it Golsch, and then Josh is like, it's Grolsch. But I also call gaffer tape, and it bothers Josh as well.
For anyone wondering, Grolsch is my second favorite Pilsner ever, and it's now available at your local Harris Teeter.
Apparently,
which used to be it was hard to find.
Maybe not all local. Like if you're in Greenville local Harris Teeter, it may vary.
You are international, so
kind of, yeah.
All the people listening in Australia,
all three of you,
all three.
Yeah.
Speaking
of, is there Australia?
I think Australia was one of them.
You've got Belgium.
I do have that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure like the ones that are like one person is somebody using a VPN, like for whatever reason. You know what I mean?
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, but there's enough of them that I'm like, it's not all of you. Also, some of these are from random ass countries. Like, why are you picking that country?
So
no, I want to watch Ukraine Netflix specifically.
You don't know; they might still have The Office on Ukraine. Netflix.
Yeah. I guess that's true.
You're gonna get a location out of everybody. It just may not be a true location.
Might not be. Yeah. It could. Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming like people using a VPN that it's gonna track the VPN.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The country of origin from that. I'm gonna turn me down a little bit because I'm worried I'm too loud.
I was thinking I was too loud.
Well,
You're always too loud.
The issue we were running into is like I don't want. By the way, in case anybody's curious, Bryton is doing all the clips and like reels and TikToks and all that crap. All the stuff that I either don't have time to do or don't want to do. Bryton is doing that. So if you see those, that's what Bryton is doing.
Good job, by the way.
I'm trying to make his job as easy as possible and make it so that we can basically go from recording to processing, but not have to do anything to anything. Like not have to turn it up, turn it down, and just, basically record it and upload it like it is. So I might be playing with our microphones throughout here, but that's why they sound so loud is because I've got them turned up quite a bit. But I guess I'm just trying to dial it in because I just, I don't want to be too quiet. Yeah, that's what I was saying that earlier. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I did want to mention something earlier that I never got a chance to mention. It was mainly about us being a guest, and the reason it's normally me and Josh is because Josh needs someone to talk over, and so that's what I'm here for, is to awkwardly sit here while Josh has the whole conversation.
We did pretty good that one time.
Pretty well.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
We didn't bring peace to earth.
No. I don't even remember what we talked about. I just know, I got really drunk. What are y'all doing? Whispering is not nice.
It's not a whisper.
What's going on? There's a whole lot of dead air here.
I'm so sorry.
What's happening?
Gonna keep talking.
What's up?
Was that meant for me?
I wanted to, yeah.
Oh,
I wanted
okay.
to see how awkward I can make it.
Okay. I just want to make sure because he'll occasionally text me things he needs to text his girlfriend, and these things sometimes I don't need to know.
Like
you do that all the time.
I do that as well.
Yeah. You didn't need to know he had that mole there. You didn't need to know. Yeah,
should have it looked at.
I could see that.
Yeah, I did recommend some doctors for it. But
how's that going? How's the relationship going? Huh?
Very good.
Yeah, you would say that.
Do you want outsider perspective? Because it seems like it's going really well.
It is going really well.
Good. Awesome.
Anybody that knows me knows that I am a
picky motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think you should be.
Yeah.
You know?
You should.
Yeah.
I made a mistake once. I ain't doing it again.
Okay. What? You're on camera.
Not my hands though.
Oh. Well, that's good. How's your relationship going?
It's going good.
Yeah, I hope so.
I mean,
did I say something that would make everybody nervous?
No, what?
I was joking because you said you made that mistake once, and I jokingly put up 2, saying you made that mistake twice. With
only made the mistake once.
Yeah, the commitment mistake once.
Yeah,
but you were in a long-term relationship, so that's why I was joking about a second one. And then he's like, they could see you, and I'm like, yeah, they can't see my hands. I already looked at the camera. I'm good. I could flip off the camera for the next hour, and no one would know.
I've been in a few long-term relationships, but they weren't with bad people. Mm-hmm. They were with people that weren't right for me, or situational wasn't right. Mm-hmm. I wasn't ready, whatever, because I am a picky motherfucker. Mm-hmm. And I don't feel that's a bad thing.
No,
not at all.
Because, like I say, I didn't feel like I was rushing into anything the first time, but I just didn't know what I was doing. I was stupid. I was, 21 when I met this horrible person. And when you don't know what to look for in relationships or whatever else, you make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah. And miss a lot of red flags or ignore a lot of them.
Yes. My favorite Bojack quote is
with rose tinted glasses, everything looks all the red flags look just like flags.
Yeah. Thanks, Brian, for knowing my favorite quote.
You seemed to pause there for a second.
Some fan.
Yeah. What?
I said some fan.
Well, we actually
it
was literally like 3 or 4 days ago that we actually just said that.
Yeah, and I was 99% sure that I knew it. I paused to make sure I said it exactly right, but yeah.
Oh, well, I took it as a, what was that again?
When you wear rose-colored glasses, sometimes red flags just look like flags. And it's true.
Yeah.
Bojack is full of wisdom.
Yeah.
I never watched it.
No, I haven't.
Oh,
it's a very funny show.
Yeah.
But the comedy really isn't the best part. It is deep.
Really?
It is nothing but straight deepness and quotes. Like, it's funny because you have Will Arnett playing a talking horse who was a sitcom star from the 80s and through the 90s, right? 80s and 90s?
Just the 90s.
Just the 90s, okay. And he was like a teen star in the 80s, and then he hit he was big in the 90s and all that. So when all the Full House, Family Matters, all those shows were happening, there's this fictional show where Bojack was the main character, and he was a talking horse.
Horsing around,
but
that's what it's called, I think.
Yep, horsing around. And then when the stardom fell, he became an alcoholic. He
drug addict.
Lost all of his friends because he's so self-centered and everything. So the show is, you see flashbacks of his stardom, but it's following him through his dark years. That's the main storyline. And, like, it's full of funny shit the whole time. So you're laughing, but the main stories are dark. And you're seeing some very real-life situations drawn as poor cartoons of talking animals. So it's like this disconnect, and yet you still get connected. I highly suggest it.
It can be a little it can be a little depressing at times, but that's like the point.
Because it hits home.
Because it's real. It's not like you're watching this show with, like, what is it? Anthropomorphized? Anthropomorphized, like, animals who are just wandering around. Like, there's a bird.
Anamorphic.
Sounded right?
Somebody was big into Animorphs as a kid.
Wow.
I don't know what that is.
It's a book series. That's what I was referencing.
Mid to late 90s.
Those horrible covers where it's like seeing
shifting. That
one might say morphing.
I don't want to talk about Animorphs, but it's a crazy, like, it's about, like, aliens that come down and, like, these kids fight. It's ridiculously crazy.
I watched. God bless. I read. I think it was the Bailey School Kids. Those books were like every adult at some point ended up being some sort of monster.
Yeah, because they were.
Is that right? Is
they
that
were
the
mystery
right one?
books, I think.
Yeah,
the Bailey School Kids. Yeah,
I read almost the entire series in like a couple days. At least how much our library had.
I want to point out how a lot of kids' books that I read were basically like, fuck adults, they're horrible. Like, why was I being told as a child to be like, just grow up and hate adults because they're going to be horrible beings? They're always like, it's the adult that's the monster. Like,
they knew that's what was going to sell more books.
Obviously not all cartoons, but a high rate of cartoons, especially in the 80s and 90s, from my experience. I didn't follow them after that, but in the 80s and 90s, they hinted a lot towards that. It was almost like the 30, 40, 50-year-old adults of the time were trying to warn people that, hey, adulthood's not what you think it is. Like, yeah, you should listen to them for wisdom and experience, but they're not like all-knowing people. Like, you need to know this. They're full of error.
Adults are just like you, just older. Like, it's not like they have... And that's one of the things you kind of learn as an adult. You're like... Literally,
that shit hit me like a brick wall.
We're literally an hour from me turning 25, and I know.
Wow.
I know very little.
Spoiler.
Like, if you want to know the date of this release, you'll just have to figure out my birthday. But I'm just saying, like, or when we recorded.
I understood. Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
I misspoke. But I was just
what do you have tattooed on your bicep?
Are you really just noticing it?
No, it's just random. What is that from?
This?
Yeah.
I've had it, like, our entire frienddip.
I'm just saying, like, what's it from?
It's a Friday the 13th tattoo.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
That was clever.
It was clever. I wonder if they're going to run the deal tomorrow. I might get a tattoo tomorrow.
That was good.
But,
yeah, adults suck.
But, yeah, you kind of... I don't feel like I'm any more prepared in the world than I was a decade ago.
I feel less prepared.
Yeah, because now, like, your responsibilities grow, and you kind of just feel even more lost.
Yeah, I'm ill-prepared with responsibilities now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, but I did way past y'all's age. So, like...
So there's hope.
I connect with y'all, but, like, I want to say the last 2 or 3 years was, like, my epiphany, and I haven't gotten out of it, but I am on an upward where like I'm realizing so much more about what it means to be happy. Go ahead and Hopsecutioner as well. Pog for him.
But yeah, keep talking.
I mean, that was the gist of it. But yeah, I don't have my life figured out in this way where it's like, oh man, it's cookies and cream, baby. Yeah. But I want to say, oh man, late 20s and into early 30s hit that point where I'm like, man, adulthood, it just kept getting worse.
Yeah.
And I was like, good God, like they don't prep you for anything that's real world.
No. You don't have to do that. It's okay.
So I was trying to be as quiet as I could.
Once you're drinking on camera, the other, oh, well, thank you, Sugar Blossom. You're opening mine.
You got a pube on it.
You're welcome, Summer Child.
He got
What did my clerk do?
That's a beard hair.
Sure.
That's not.
Okay.
That looked like mine.
Oh, those aren't my hairs at all.
But it wouldn't even have been mine because that's been in a clothes bag. Well, I handed them to you, so maybe.
Yeah. It could be mine, too. I do have, like, red beard hair.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, man.
Oh, shoot.
Have you guys seen, you were saying something. Were you done?
that your downward spiral is getting worse, but you'll figure it out.
Actually, mine's
it's only downhill from here.
I feel like mine's done. Like, I feel like I'm on the way up.
Oh, yeah. I'm joking.
Think so.
I'm joking because of your age. Mine was a little bit later, but like...
Well, I mean, I'm older than him, so it's probably correct for him, but I'm about to be 28, so...
Like, 28 is when I was for sure that and I'm not comparing.
Yeah.
I'm saying for my experience, 28 was when I was confident I had it figured out, and it hit the hardest crash ever.
Well, some of us aren't fucking losers, so...
Yeah, right?
Jesus.
I felt bad, like, because one, I was saying that, and two, Bryton had just turned his drink up, and I was like, Josh is about to get a face full of beer. All of this is going to be sticky tomorrow.
That would have been a good reel, though.
Yeah.
No, it's like my 20s felt like this learning experience where every time I would hit an obstacle, get past it, I would learn from it. But it never felt like I was truly moving up. Mm-hmm. It felt like I was doing this. Because every obstacle, then I would, But
actually, I think that's probably a more accurate representation of where I'm at. Yeah.
Ups, downs,
things go really well for a while, and then I'm like, all right, kind of need that check to come in because I got to pay rent.
That was my 20s, and I felt like I had it all under control by the time I was right at 30-ish, but it was the worst point ever in my life, and it was hidden. It wasn't one of those valleys that I saw. It was horrible, and then lost so much, but also found a way to come out of it. And since I have now, I hit those same type of obstacles. They never stop. That is adulthood. They haven't stopped. They never stop. But you learn how to handle it in a way where you don't keep going with it. You end up being able to know how to like skip. So you're not constantly moving up, but instead of moving up, dropping, you find a way to do steps. Well,
maybe I'll figure that out one day.
Well, that was a good lesson. I'm going to head out. I'll see you guys later.
All right. I'm just at the point where I'm like, I just want to be able to buy or build a house in the next 2 years. That's all I care about right now. A friend of mine, I just saw he bought a house, Dontavius Chesson, the photographer friend. Terescence Photography is probably more likely to be familiar with you. Or you'd be familiar with it. He just bought a house, and it's like a nice house. But he's not just a photographer. He works for the hospital. My dude works his ass off. He works full time at the hospital as like an IT guy, and then he's a wedding photographer on the weekends, basically. Runs a studio, making X amount here plus X amount here.
If you have a good steady job that provides everything you need, and then you have enough clientele where you can charge good prices and do it as a weekend job.
Yeah. That's what excuse me, sir.
Turn the volume
down.
Fuck?
It's so rude with your loud.
I swear. Fucking children.
Anyway, yeah, that's kind of what the thing with Jake is like the steady job that if things go horribly awry in my outside business. Yeah. Thanks. Do you use it correctly? Do you use it? Like, how do you use awry? I'm just curious.
Usually to describe my day, like, man, everything was going fine, and then so-and-so happened, and everything after that, everything just fell apart. It went awry.
I was really hoping you were going to put it in like a funny, like, almost correct thing. I set you up. Like, I was, there's the, set the ball up, and you dropped it. I appreciate that. Anyway, yeah, that's what, like, the whole thing with Jake and the beard struggle is, you know. It's just enough, like, if things go terrible, I could still pay my half of the bills, you know.
I saw the beard struggle in your restroom.
Ah, yes.
Thought about using it. Felt inappropriate.
You could have. I didn't buy it, so I was like, hey, I need some stuff for filming. No, I was like for filming and like my personal like supply, and they're like, okay,
to have stuff.
Yeah, basically, and they just sent it to me. It was really cool because it was like $100 worth of shit, you know. And actually, I've grown to like their stuff. Not because I work for them, you know, but thank you. But like their stuff, I hadn't actually used their beard oil. I'd smelled it on Jake, and that's the only. Like I know that sounds weird.
That sounds very weird.
When we're making the videos, like I have to smell it.
Get really close to Jake's face, just like.
Yeah. Oh. That's kind of how I start the day usually.
Just walks up straight to beard.
Yeah.
Jake. Yeah. What is that fragrance?
This is getting weird. Anyway, their stuff smells really good, and I've actually come to. I didn't used to like beard balm, but like now that my beard is bigger than it usually was in the past, I'm realizing it actually does help keep it like together. It's not like gel, but
right. I've never been a fan of gels or the wax, but I love the oils.
Yeah, the balm is like actually I think the balm is more like a conditioner. And
I don't mean beard struggle. I'm talking about in general.
I know. Yeah, like, and I don't like. I used to when I had like a big mustache. I did the whole wax thing, but like getting that shit out
like a villain.
It's like fucking gross. Yeah, and I couldn't eat anything. Like no sandwiches. Like like you know that sucks. Having to tear like a burger apart so you can put it in your mouth bite by bite.
Because it's in the
Like what are you?
Oral peripheral.
Sure. Okay. Is that a joke?
Makes sense.
Okay.
No, it was a weird way to like just say it.
No.
There's so many other ways to have said what he just said.
Yeah. He said it the Josh way though.
Oral peripheral.
Yeah. Whoa. That word kicked your ass.
Yeah, it did.
It didn't even. You swung at it and it ducked and then just uppercut. Gone.
I mean, that's no lining cool.
Yeah. Have you guys seen the Suicide Squad yet?
Man. Oh yes,
he's watched it.
You haven't?
I watched the first 20 minutes, and I was trying to do other stuff, and I was like, "Yeah."
I'm disappointed.
So can we talk about the first 20 minutes of the movie?
Sure.
Bless. Okay.
Sure.
Have you seen? On a separate note, have you seen What If yet?
Yeah, I just watched the first episode last night.
We could talk about that.
I would love to talk about that
because that was phenomenal.
I was really hoping to see Cap still go in the ice. I was hoping to see him still go into the ice, and then we get a like when she comes out later of the thingy.
Right. Do we need to throw a spoiler alert here? Hey, graphics guy, can you throw a spoiler alert?
Yeah, on the audio version. But
are we not on?
Spoiler alert. Anyway,
it's not going to be video.
It is.
It is. I was just saying, like, how are you going to do it on the audio only?
For the audio,
yeah.
Good, because I've been posing.
Spoiler alert.
I just picture in my head the old
this
Batman
is the worst episode.
Oh yeah,
in like a long time. This is gonna be a bad
longer than the one where I sat here for 3.5 hours.
That one I think was good.
I enjoyed it, and I actually enjoy listening to it, and I'm not really a big fan of listening to myself. But
fucking narcissist.
But when you can't remember what the fuck you said, it kind of helps. Yeah.
There's no vein in my veins.
I was just saying, get a little like the old Batman.
It should be vanity. I do know how to talk, but
okay,
you wouldn't say. I was trying to...
What were you? What?
I was on the spoiler thing still, so we could blaze past it.
Okay, so I was kind of hoping that Cap would still go on the ice, and then she'd come, like in an alternate reality. It doesn't have to be kind of exactly what happened. He could still be alive too.
Yeah. I never even thought of that. What if?
Yeah.
But I do
Why didn't they show me that one?
I do like that they didn't make her go into the ice. I like the fact that because every little thing you can we're going to get on to another subject here, I can already tell, because they're feeding off from things that are happening in the MCU. And if you've watched all the MCU and you pay attention, then you can see that. But the the monster they fought, is that not the same one from Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
So it's not a clear indication. It
not the same one. I mean, species.
It could be the same species, or it could be there's a being that exists in space that is like a destroyer, and that it also is a tentacle monster. I just cannot remember. What? Huh? God, the tentacle monster.
God?
Well, kind of. Because all those things they're inspired by Lovecraft. Marvel.
I was, real quick, I was committed to just saying God. After he said there's a being in space, I was committed to saying God, no matter how he described it. And I was just hoping it was going to be funny.
It worked.
He added tentacles, and it kind of fucked it up. But anyway, I was counting on you, Bryton.
I'm sorry.
That's my fault.
I really fucked it up. Really ruined it for everybody listening.
There's a tentacle monster in space. So what? I interrupted you.
Oh,
I was on a tangent.
He was on a tangent, so you kind of interrupted him. But I was just trying to look.
What you were going to say, because I've got a whole tangent.
There is a I can't remember what its name is. I'm actually trying to look it up right now because there is a tentacle monster in is this it? Shuma Gorath, which is like an elder god, and it's like a very powerful entity in like the Marvel universe. And so there is theories that could be what it was,
right?
And that which means that it would. The only reason I'm kind of on the fence about it being that means that she killed it. At least,
well, okay, yeah,
because she was literally trapped with it, and the whole what is in the Tesseract is the Space Stone.
Yeah, Space Stone
is the Space Stone. So it would make sense that it could have
I've
could
never
open a
understood why
wormhole
the
to another
stone made a blue sphere.
Yeah,
has that ever been explained?
No.
I can't remember.
That's retconning. That's what they call in comics, retconning.
But they break the blue sphere and it's still yellow.
Yeah, I know.
It's not
but
retconning the stone.
It's not. It's basically them saying, "Hey, we had no plans on this originally being the Mind Stone."
Gotcha. Yes.
It's more of them trying to be like,
And by the time they got to the Mind Stone, they already had the blue one figured out. And they're like, shit.
Can't be the Space Stone because Loki used it to brainwash people.
Yeah.
The fucking Mind Stone.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Unless it was
to not make sense, that makes sense.
Unless it was housed in I guess you could make an argument that it was housed in a blue shell.
That's kind of
like a blue translucent shell to hide its properties that it could possibly be the Mind Stone.
That's the easiest explanation.
Yeah.
And probably the one that they tell people when they're like, God damn, I'm tired of this fucking question.
When all the nerds are like, why?
We love to deep dive.
It's in a blue box, okay? It's in a blue box.
You asked me about my comics. You've got comics here, so obviously you've got some nerdiums in you.
A little bit,
but
I know a lot about Spider-Man.
I don't know how much you deep dive. So do you
I'm
really
I'm down to go on a journey.
Okay,
but I don't know if I'm going to be of much help.
Boom. Boom.
Is that how you start that?
We just figured out a conversation.
Okay.
We just
is this a new segment? I'm gonna soundbite that. Yeah. So that part, take that part and just boom, and I'm gonna add it to the soundboard.
To the soundboard.
Yeah.
On the intro.
No.
No.
Well, maybe.
No, please don't.
I'm gonna put where it just jettison. I'm gonna put that, And boom. Anyway, where are we going?
What I love about it, I didn't think about him being in the ice. Never even crossed my mind. Mm-hmm. I was so concentrated on the fact that I love that they didn't put her in the ice. Mm-hmm. Because if you're going to change this whole scenario just because she chose not to go into the booth, and then the whole thing plays out different. And they gave homages to things like the way that she used the shield to stop the car, or the Jeep car, whatever, like
real quick. I don't think I know we said what if, but like we're talking about what if the Marvel series. We're talking about the first episode that's called Captain Carter or something like that. Mm-hmm. And the What If series, if you don't know, go check it out. It's really cool.
It's based on the comics. There was What If comics. They even did crossovers with DC back in the day.
And it's basically just like alternate timelines and how things could have played out.
Marvel's made up of a multiverse.
Yeah.
And you see that in comics all the time. The main timeline that we're talking about now with Loki and all that, that's the 616. But
it's not...
we are going deep.
The Marvel Cinematic Universe is the universe.
Boys.
Is the universe 1999-99, which is based off of 1999 when Kevin Feige first started working with Marvel.
Which is almost a creation to explain how they don't have to follow the 616.
Exactly.
It's inspired by the 616 comics.
Which is interesting why they're calling the Watcher and What If right now. I literally was about to bring this up when you and then you said 616. They call him Uatu the Watcher, which is not the Watcher for the universe 199999. I think it's 5. I think it's 4 9s. I can't remember. It's 4 or 5 9s. But
let's not get hung up on that.
But regardless of the fact, the Marvel Cinematic Universe versus the regular comic universe, as far as 616, which is the most common, like that's where you have Peter Parker as Spider-Man, all this bullshit.
Well, but, Miles Morales is Spider-Man now, right?
Yes, but
in that universe.
In that universe, but it's a lot of wibbly wobbly shit to make Miles.
Yeah. Because he was originally from
a different universe. I'm pretty sure.
Ultimate?
He was from the...
Wasn't he presented in the Ultimate?
I think he was.
But then they
made him the Amazing Spider-Man.
The Spider-Verse is where a lot of the wibbly wobbly...
I'm pretty sure this is where Thor becomes the one that destroys the universe. He becomes like the Dark Storm or something like that, and he's the one who... he's part of the reason why the universe gets destroyed in the first place and restarted. And then that's why we have Miles Morales and a bunch of other characters that were originally in other universes but are now in our main universe 616. I'm not 100% sure on that. This is me kind of combining all of the knowledge that I know over time.
I hope this becomes my job. This is so cool.
Speaking of your job, you are going to need to preface that this goes in a Marvel route if we do stick with this, because we were pretty interesting to the common folk.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we've hit another gear.
Yeah.
Which
we talked about drinking and adulting, and now we're on Marvel.
Some people will tune out, and then the people that are into this, like you've got a huge, huge fan base that would be into this. But we took 33 minutes to get there.
That's what the clips are for.
Yeah.
Clever.
Yeah. Also, we have seen a rise in consistency.
Yeah, we have.
Of views or downloads. And I attribute that to the marketing. Mm-hmm. Which was, thank you.
Hell, I'll drink to it too, because I taught this guy a little marketing.
Yeah, everything I know, I learned from someone else, and then Josh built on it.
I'll take it. Isn't that what learning is?
But yeah.
So who's well, since we're on superheroes,
I still have a tangent, but we can come back to it.
No, go for it. Yeah. I was gonna say, since we're on superheroes, who's your favorite superhero?
Okay, we'll come back to it. So the tangent is, if Peggy Carter, now Captain Carter, I'm glad she wasn't frozen, because the sequence of events that they led up into Red Skull figuring out that the time stone was space stone was inside of the Tesseract, instead of it playing through the normal way where he, like, the Tesseract early on built high-powered rifles and pistols. Whereas in this universe, it was figured out so fast of its full potential that we get an Iron Man in 1943. Mm-hmm. Basically, Steve Rogers became the first Iron Man due to Howard Stark, not Tony Stark.
Yeah.
War Machine, more like... I attributed him more to War Machine than I did.
It's closer to an Ironmonger, but I'm just saying a Stark built the first suit.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying Iron Man.
Semantics.
Yeah. Jesus.
Actually, actually, it's more like an Ironmonger.
Actually.
That was really good.
That's how I hear it in my head.
Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so we've got this creature, tentacled creature, that whether it is or isn't, I'm not talking about the exact same character. I'm talking about like species or whatever. Mm-hmm. We've now discovered that there's interdimensional tentacled species that we've seen in the MCU with Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Volume 2. Mm-hmm. And now we've seen what appears to be the same thing or a related thing or whatever now in the very first episode. Like they're throwing these little, hey, you recognize this, you recognize that. Then they're playing out themes, like her using the shield the same way that Steve Rogers would end up. You're seeing these themes. But in Loki, we see a variant being walked through that has been arrested by the Time Alliance, TVA.
Yeah.
That looks like Peggy Carter. It may or may not be, but when the creator was asked, she wouldn't answer it. She kind of did the whole, So she kind of...
That means no, but it's a good idea, and I'm not going to say shit, because...
Hey, that's actually made some of the best stories in the MCU so far. Some of the early stories didn't have things figured out, and Kevin Feige listened to fans and was like, oh my God.
Where's my money?
Here we go.
Like for
and he's mastered it, so
like
good
Thanos,
for him. You should listen to fans.
Thanos
you shouldn't give nothing but fan service.
This man is trying to say Thanos so hard. Thanos.
I didn't do my thing.
This is supposed to
You're
be
right.
Thanos.
It's awkward with the mic right here, but
Thanos.
By the way, this means shut up, Josh. I want to talk.
Thanos could be considered a fan-made thing because the guy who made which one was the Avengers? Who the hell?
He was at the end of the first Avengers.
Was it Joss Whedon?
Joss Whedon did the first Avengers and Ultron.
And he was like, I need a big bad for Loki to report to. And that's where Thanos came from. And it was because Joss Whedon loves Thanos, and he was like, I think this should be the big bad. And
I think the reality is the story was deeper than that, but that is what you're not saying anything incorrect. Mm-hmm. I'm not correcting you. But I feel like it was one of those deeper story things where they didn't figure out how to go with Thanos. Mm-hmm. But I don't think Joss Whedon was like, I'm just going to throw Thanos in here and see what happens. I think like he was like, we need this big bad. And Kevin Feige was like, already? Is that where we're ready for? And they're like, he's like, well, we're working on a story for Thanos. And I think that was probably more like, because Kevin Feige is keeps things so close to the vet, and like, Mm-hmm. But
I'm just saying from the reports I had read.
Yeah. That is what we said. That's what I'm saying. You're correct.
It probably would be that type of situation where it was more of like, we need a big bad. This is who it needs to be. But Thanos getting the Infinity Stone, that's why it kind of circles back to the whole, why is the Mind Stone in a little circular blue gem? Because when Avengers came out, they had no intention of using an Infinity Saga. Kevin Feige even has come out and said that that it wasn't until after Avengers Age of Ultron that they finally were like, okay, this is the plan. Like, they didn't get their shit together until Age of Ultron. Like, most of it was all just these interconnected movies that worked together, but they had like a map of it where they're like, I think this is where we need to go, but as far as concrete, like, this is the plan. This is how things will be released. You got something to say?
Speaking of Ultron, hot take, because he's one of my favorite villains, he ain't done. He didn't die. He didn't die.
What?
Nah, he didn't die.
For sure not.
Nah.
So that's
Ultron doesn't die. His thing is...
He does in the MCU?
He's non-stop.
Well, how?
You saw his body get destroyed. The thing about Ultron... Yes, exactly. You saw Ultron physically destroyed.
Yeah, but I thought that was the last version of him.
But he always hides himself on the internet.
So he's on he's a website somewhere.
He's waiting. He's hidden. He's a hidden encryption somewhere,
He's
waiting for an
Squarespace
opportunity. He's waiting for an opportunity where he can attack a weakness in a security system for internet so that he can reform himself again. He's hidden. He's powerless. He's not out there doing anything. He's in a waiting state. Now, for anybody listening, I am making a prediction.
I'm making what's known as an educated guess.
I called up old Feige boy. I tell you what, Feige boy told me a few things.
We really hooked up. We're really good friends now, so
Yeah, me and Kev. But
call him Kevo.
So just a hot take. Ultron's out there. He's waiting, and Marvel. The reason MCU is so good is because they feed off from what they need to from the comics, but they're writing their own story, which is why what you said earlier, you're 100% correct. It's not the 616, but it's 100% based on the 616.
Yeah.
They're just making their own universe again, which is thank you, Loki. You now know that there is no such thing as a sacred timeline, even though he who remains king says that there's a sacred timeline. We now know, thanks to the Watcher, that there is no sacred timeline because there is no linear universe. There is no universe that's supposed to happen the way that King thinks it is. King says there's a universe where he defeats all the other kings, and he has to make sure that there's no multiverses happening so that he can stay the winner. That's his conceited way of viewing things, where he's like, obviously this is the path because this is the one I went on. And he told all the Marvel fans that, hey, there is this sacred timeline. We were told that, but we were told that by the villain, and everybody's listening to it. That's not it. There is no sacred timeline. It's a multiverse. It's not a linear line. It's a prism where everything that breaks off, and there is no one thing that's dominant over the other, which has two things. Means that I think with the multiverse of madness that we're going to get in with the next Doctor Strange, you're going to learn all of that. So nobody sees that yet, but that's another one of my predictions, is that you're learning slowly but surely that King is wrong, and what King thinks is right, and he's so powerful with future technology that he's using that he is going to cause a multi-dimensional war, multi-universal war, multiversal war, however you would say that.
Whatever.
Yeah. He's going to cause a
It'd
war.
It'd be multi-universal war. Because
multi and uni are opposites.
Because multiverse. Then why would you say a multi? Oh, well, I guess it's multiversal.
Right?
Yeah, I guess
multiverse. Now that you think about
God,
it's multiversal.
Oh, that's rough.
Wow.
So he's going to cause a multiversal war. And obviously we're going to go back to the universe in some form because they need. That's the main thing of Phase 4. Like, this is the main storyline. The fact that there is no storyline that you can follow because it's multiversal. But they'll need to rein it in, obviously. So this is just the phase that we're in. But
I wonder if they're going to bring in Captain Carter.
Yes.
That's my tangent.
That's what this is leading to. I could already tell.
In the multi.
Oh.
Yeah.
That would be sick.
In the next Doctor
Strange,
Strange, I wouldn't even. I would be actually surprised. Like, again, this is a prediction, but I would not only just be happy to see it. I'd be surprised if you didn't see somewhere where, like, it's when Doctor Strange is trying to navigate this multiverse, because he's got to figure this out, because he's never dealt with this. He has the ability to deal with it, but he never has. So you're going to see him learning this, because he's not yet the Sorcerer Supreme. That's his end goal. He's going to become the Sorcerer Supreme, but they've never in the MCU made him the Sorcerer Supreme.
I thought he was.
They've hinted at it. They've never
but
actually
they never
said
actually
it.
Completely declared you are the Sorcerer Supreme.
It's just all the followers, all the good people that use magic. He hates when I say magic, but I'm using it with quotation marks.
What is it?
Because it's all technology. It's technology we don't understand.
Kevin Feige has come out and said that we don't. The MCU doesn't have magic in it. It's all just science that we don't understand yet.
But Thor 2, the one that shall not be watched, It's a decent movie. It's just in comparison, it's horrible.
Yeah.
But that they actually have a weird scene that now in hindsight makes sense. It didn't at the time, where he's talking to Jane Foster and he explains how magic doesn't exist, but it's just technology you don't understand yet. That's a horrible. I didn't even really try on that one. But
yeah, I don't know.
But when he's explaining all, he explains how it's okay to call it magic, but what magic is technology you don't understand yet. It's either technology from the future or from a different multiverse or from a different planet. You're not exposed to it. We call that magic. Magic doesn't exist, but we refer to that as magic. But anyway, I think when he's navigating, I don't think Peggy Carter's going to play a big role, but I would literally be surprised when I'm sitting in that theater if I don't see her fighting the tentacle monster in this navigation scene or whatever. Yeah. Like, we're going to get a throwback to that because it's going to add importance to the show that I think a lot of people, they're worried that people are going to skip out on the show. They're going to see cartoon animated and they're like, oh, I can skip this one.
Yeah.
But it's going to be I don't want to say the most important one, but they're making sure that you know it's just as important. So if they show you that, then you've got to watch season 2. And they've already said that the one recurring character for What If that's coming back for season 2 is Peggy Carter.
Huh.
Yeah, they've already announced that. And I actually want to expand on what you said real quick because there's one scene.
I finally finished my tangent, so I have time.
Let this man. What?
There's one thing in this trailer that I want to point out. Is there's a scene that we have not seen of Peggy Carter meeting Doctor Strange.
Yeah, she's coming back this year.
So I don't know if it's actually there's no confirmation that it's a later episode.
True.
I have a 50-50 guess right now, and this is completely speculation. What if there's a live-action version of Peggy Carter meeting Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and this is their animated version? Because Marvel has done shit like this before with the whole Thor's eye situation in, was it Endgame or Ragnarok? One of them.
Ragnarok is when he lost his eye.
But they have a trailer where he has his eye. Yeah. Then it was Ragnarok.
They fake
or
it.
In Infinity War, they made it seem like Hulk was already busted out, but he's not. He's in the Hulkbuster. They've done these tricks before.
They give you fake scenes in the trailers so that you cannot figure out the storyline before you see it.
Exactly. I have a theory that they put that in there because they're going to think this is going to be later in the show. I bet there's a live-action version of Agent Carter or Captain Carter meeting live-action fucking Cumberbatch,
Benedict.
Doctor Strange in real life from the Multiverse of Madness, and I think that was a scene that they had animated so that they could allude to it without fully kind of mind blowing if you really like this.
Wait,
is
did I miss
stretch.
something? Did she meet Doctor Strange in that episode? Did I miss something?
No. It's just in the trailer. There's a animated version of them talking.
Oh, in the trailer for What If.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
So he's saying, "What if?" That doesn't happen in that episode, but it's actually a teaser. They just put in a fake animated scene in the trailer for what will happen in
from
his
like a
movie.
storyboard or something. Yeah.
In Doctor Strange 2. And you know what would give me a good old fashioned hard on is if
good old fashioned one.
If in the live action Doctor
clip what you just said. Good old fashioned one. Oh, why'd you sing that? Good old fashioned one.
I would appreciate it if he's navigating through, sees her fighting, and it's maybe all right. So maybe you see her live action fighting the tentacled monster. I'm gonna keep referring to it since you said it that way because we don't know which that monster is. For sure.
It could be.
You didn't even see the head in the show,
Shamu.
did you?
It could be Shamu. I think
you do in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, but I don't think you ever see the head in the show, do you?
You don't. You only see the mouth open up, which makes me assume that it's probably what did I say? Shumagarath. That's it.
Whoa.
Shumagarath.
That was a ride.
It takes me a hot minute to say something.
So how cool would it be if, when he's navigating, because she's passing through portals, what if we see her live action fighting the tentacled monster, whereas we saw it animated? Mm-hmm. And then she passes back through, and he goes and has the conversation with her, and it actually is the clip, and we have an animated clip in the Doctor Strange movie. Some people wouldn't like it. I would love that. The old-fashioned.
Because that would kind of hit more.
Because why wouldn't there be a multiverse out there where
something's animated,
more animated because physics are different in every dimension or verse,
which would then imply more of like the whole comic route of that's why there can be a 616 universe
and
a
are now a part of the
1999 because
the comics are part of the MCU.
You think this is all insane, but we can.
This is entertaining.
We could deep dive a lot more because if you get me started on a Venom tangent, we'll be here for like 2 hours.
Please dive as deep as you want.
What Marvel has done over the past, since Kevin Feige has really taken over, Marvel tests everything in their comics. So if you want to figure out what Marvel's going to do in about a decade, look at the comics. Because they've been testing things out in the comics to see how they could treat the MCU. Like, I think there's going to be a restart. I think there's going to be a complete and total wipeout of this universe and a restart.
I think that's why they're setting up the multiverse thing. They're like, hey, look, there's a whole bunch of universes. All right, now you'll buy that we'll just destroy this one.
I disagree that it'll be
start another one.
I disagree that it'll be a whole one, but I could completely see it happening as well. Like I'm not arguing, that's not where I lean towards in thinking what will happen, but I think you'll see a major reset, not a complete reset.
Oh, okay. I wasn't saying complete, but I'm just saying like
all right, yeah. But like it I don't disagree with what you just said about Feige at all. I would say I have my own way of saying it, which is different. But I would say if you want to find out what Feige's going to do, he's a perfectionist, and he cares about this so much. He's so invested in how this is going to turn out. Look at his failures. He is doing the MCU with everything that worked with Fox and everything that didn't work. He's going so the opposite because he's the main guy that brought us X-Men. He didn't direct it, but he was the lead assistant producer. And when they saw that he was giving the best ideas, he was doing the best work out of the assistant producers, he ended up producing some of it, and he had bad failures, horrible failures. X3 and X-Men Origins Wolverine, maybe?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
Oh, God,
X-Men
both of those were him?
Yeah, he screwed up, and he failed it. And instead of running away, and most producers and directors, when they have those kind of failures in the comic world, they're not welcomed back. Instead, he was like, no, I got you. Yeah. I see exactly what you're saying.
I got you.
He will never listen to fans 100% as far as like doing what they're like, I wish I saw this and this and this. He's like, well, I'll make sure you don't see that, but I got something better for you. I'm gonna take what you're actually wanting and do it in a better way because I've learned from my screw ups. And that is why the MCU is so successful because he screwed up another universe, the Fox verse.
Yeah.
There's a lot of verses.
Do you guys think that all right, so a lot of people are excited about the new Spider-Man movie.
Yep.
And a lot of it God, who's
I can't help it. It's
you're fired. Anyway,
is it you two?
Nope. Anyway, so the new Spider-Man movie, a lot of people are confused but excited that there's not going to be a trailer. And some people think that it's because there's no way that they could hide Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. What do y'all think about that?
So we know Jamie Foxx.
Boy, you were ready. You were.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
So we already know
this is my life.
We know Jamie Foxx is going to reprise his role as Electro.
That is unfortunate.
And we know.
I think
they're going to do it better
because he's a great actor.
Yeah.
And they screwed up
just
the character
under a different director.
It's a multiverse. Better? We don't have to get the one that we just had.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get Jamie Foxx.
I want Jamie Foxx in a green outfit
with yellow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think they're going to do it right. That's why not.
Hopefully they don't do it like
if
that.
There's an infinite versions of Jamie Foxxes out there, we're not getting that one again.
Yeah.
And then we're getting
It's going to have Ray Charles, but electric.
Tobey Maguire. Well, who's that actor's name? I always forget.
Wait, what's the question?
The Dr. Octopus.
Oh, Doc Ock.
What's the actor's name?
Hang on.
Yeah.
I know it's from the Sam Raimi killer.
Boy. Alexa. Who played Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2?
Doc Ock, Dr. Otto Octavius, were played by Alfred Molina in the 2004 film
Alfred
Spider-Man
Molina.
2.
Alexa, stop.
Thank you.
No.
Really appreciate it. Thank you,
No.
sir.
Listen, one of my favorite villains. I already said that one of my favorite villains is Ultron.
Mm-hmm.
I always thank them because even if it's 50 years from now, they're gonna just spend a second to look at everything we've ever done to treat them this way. They're gonna know everything.
I just realized what you were saying.
We might as well be nice now.
I was like, what?
He's like, you treated Alexa how? Okay.
No.
Okay.
I thank her a lot.
Huh, well,
I tell my Alexa to shut the fuck up all the time.
She was being really loud just then, though. So,
who set the volume?
well, she didn't have to stay at that volume.
Well,
should have assessed the room.
She should have picked up the vibe.
Yeah.
Read the room, Alexa.
Oh man.
Ultron knows all.
All right. So, do you think Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are going to be in this movie?
Yes.
You think so?
Yes, I do.
I think Toby will be.
I don't think there'll be major players. I don't think you're going to see them.
I think you just see them.
I don't know if you're going to see the actors themselves. Like,
oh man,
here's what I
that
say.
would suck.
I don't think you're going to see a Tobey Maguire from 2020 and an
Oh, you
Andrew
think
Garfield. I think you could see clips from their movies.
Yeah.
And like 3D, like what the fuck is it?
Like they'll deep fake it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Like with the young Tobey Maguire.
I don't 100% know because
let's say
they
that
could,
happens.
they could 100% be in it. I'm just saying there is a 50-50 chance that
I may half agree with you and still disagree, but like
that would be wild, dude.
Because let's say they do it that way. At the end of it, if there's nothing new, there's going to be outrage. Mm-hmm. And I think I shouldn't say this because it's Sony, and Sony does drop the ball. But
tell me about it.
They do. I mean, Venom was good, but it
let's talk
joke.
about that. Let's talk about that new Venom.
God,
oh, I'm so excited. I can't help it. We're too close to each other.
It's way too intimate, man.
Sometimes I get too close and our arm hair brushes against each other, and Josh gets really uncomfortable.
I don't like body hair to touch my body hair. It's just, it's a weird feeling. It's like female Velcro and female Velcro.
So where do you think like Spider-Man is?
What if that happens? Okay,
they show up.
Let's see it your way, but it's only old footage.
Okay.
If they end it that way, why not at least have a scene where like the three of them have like a huddle session type of thing where they're giving him advice.
I don't think they'll do old footage.
Exactly.
That's weird.
I don't think they're gonna have 45 minutes of action sequence with Tobey and Maguire. Maguire and Garfield. But I think they're in it.
I'm just saying they fucked Andrew Garfield over.
What was that situation? What happened there? I've never gotten a clear answer.
From how I understand it, they just like stopped. They just stopped the universe.
Or the second one was so bad, they didn't know where to go, so they put it on pause, and he didn't know where it was going for a while, so it was left in limbo, and then they're like, oh, Marvel, you want to make a deal? Sure. Oh. So they went a different direction.
Yeah.
Really?
So
they couldn't figure out how to do it because the second one was so bad. They made money, but they knew that after people were so let down for what they paid for that the third one was doomed unless they just pulled out something amazing. And then Marvel stepped in and was like, or Disney stepped in and
we need your boy.
I got billions of dollars. You want to talk? And Sony's like, we're racking our brain over here. Yes, I want to talk.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing though. Like Garfield kind of got fucked over in that deal. And if I was Garfield, like I probably wouldn't want to be in the next movie.
Name
if they were
Andrew
like
Garfield's last movie. Go.
Hacksaw Ridge.
Yeah.
Okay. Good job, guys.
I was literally like war one.
I was guessing that was his last one.
I don't think it is. The last one
I
was
don't even know that it is his last one.
The last one was him in Alaska.
More recent. It was more recent than what I thought y'all would be puzzled on thinking of anything from the last 5 years. So I was going to say, why not get paid?
I can't think I can't think of anything before Spider-Man.
Money speaks.
He's now. He's doing
before Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He's doing like 4 movies right now. I just want to point out
the Social Network or like the Facebook.
I never actually saw that.
Great movie.
Yeah, that is a really good movie. He was in Mainstream just recently. He
hasn't
The Eyes
stopped
of Tammy
acting.
Faye and Tick
My
Tick
point
Boom.
was he hasn't had a payday like that, like those in it. He hasn't been paid since Spider-Man, the way that Spider-Man would have.
Yeah.
I
They
agree
still
with
have
he
him
would-
credited for a Sinister Six movie that never happened.
IMDb or Google.
I was so excited for that.
Yeah. Google's wrong.
Like, I was reading all the theories at the time of what they were setting up, and I was
Sinister
so excited
Six
for
was
that.
perfectly set up, and it still is. Like that's why they're
Oh, yeah,
bringing
yeah.
over Doc Ock and Electro, and
Perfectly set up. Is that your Green Goblin?
at the end of
You got one of the 6. And
at the
then
end of
you got
Amazing
Rhino.
Spider-Man, they had Green Goblin, Rhino, and then they showed all of the suits. Like I'm saying, they had
Electro
it set
sucked.
up.
Rhino sucked. Good actors.
Yeah,
And they fucked them.
I'm not saying they were. I'm not
You
saying
got
they
Paul
perfectly.
Giamatti in a mech suit that looked horrible.
I'm not saying they perfectly set it up in the way of like this is what I had envisioned. I'm just saying they had perfectly set it up like they were ready to do a Sinister Six movie and then dropped it. That's what I'm saying. They had perfectly set it up like they were literally like, hey fans, look at this literally treasure trove of all of these suits we have in a basement locked somewhere.
They perfectly planned out a way to do the Sinister Six.
I'm not saying they executed it
we
perfectly.
saw multiple fumbles just in the hint of the Sinister Six.
Yeah.
So yeah, like Paul Giamatti, brilliant actor, ruined. Jamie Foxx, brilliant actor, ruined. Whatever that weird looking 30-year-old that looks 14 that played Green Goblin.
I actually liked him. I do liked him. I liked him as a Green Goblin.
His
I think
portrayal was fun, but look at him for a second and tell me that's Green Goblin.
Yeah. Do you guys think they're going to do a Green Goblin in this universe?
Oh yeah,
they have to. There's no like the goblins are so important to Spider-Man's.
Yeah.
it's the most crucial villain he has.
How do you think they're going to do it?
My favorite is Doc Ock.
Right.
But Green Goblin's the most crucial.
I don't know how. I have heard fan theories that they think that
You
Flash.
sounded like a gossiping mom when you started that. I don't know how. But listen, guys.
Listen, I'm gonna spill some tea, but
I don't.
I think it's gonna be Flash.
Really?
The school bully.
I
because,
don't want that.
Here's the theory, though. It's because
He's a bitch.
he is a bitch, but his dad's always gone. His mom's he is living the life of an Osborn. He's very
Oh,
reminiscent.
we don't have any Osborn.
I'm saying
Osborn's not in the.
exactly, but we don't know.
Oh.
It's Flash. He's Flash Thompson. At least I don't remember if they gave his last name.
He
or
better
not
not be
or
Flash Osborn.
Sony's doing everything the opposite of what Feige's doing. Sony is like, instead of giving the fans what they want with a better tweak than they can ever imagine, let's go out of left field. Let's not use MJ. Let's use. See, I can't remember because Sony's not doing.
Zendaya.
She goes by MJ, but yeah, Zendaya's character.
Yeah.
The other girlfriend that he went to prom with, can't remember because the Sony stories are good,
Yeah.
but they're just not done well enough that it cements in my brain.
Wasn't her
Michelle.
name Felicia?
Her
Or
name
it
was
Michelle.
Her name was Michelle.
Wait, Zendaya's character?
Zendaya's character.
Okay, so who was the other one? Wasn't it Felicia? Was it Felicia?
Liz Allen.
Liz Allen, sorry. No.
Bye.
No. That wasn't
Oh, you
like
mean the
pulled out
NWA
of nowhere.
movie?
That was Felicia Hardy.
How do I know that?
He had a girlfriend, Felicia Hardy. Oh, I think she's Black Cat.
Yeah, Felicia
Black
Hardy
Cat.
is Black Cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's
like
what I
I
was.
know the
That's what I
name.
was saying.
Felicia in the comics.
Gotcha.
Felicia Hardy
I
is Black
thought
Cat.
maybe they used her name in that.
No.
And it was just I don't know why.
I think Liz Allen was just there for the sheer fact of
Liz
making
Allen
him
was another.
close to the Vulture.
Vulture was perfect though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But look, we have
And they-
Vulture, we have
Michael
Scorpion,
Keaton's
we have
creepy, man.
Doctor
He's so
Ock.
good.
I love Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton is a
He could-
deity
he
of
could
acting.
fuck some
He
shit
is
up.
creepy as hell.
I love Michael Keaton so much.
He can do like cringe creepy.
Yeah.
Like I might eat you creepy, but he can also do like
Multiplicity.
I'm a calculated serial killer.
You ever seen
I'm not gonna
Multiplicity?
eat you.
No, I haven't. Is it good?
Multiplicity.
Nah.
Oh, I had to say it twice. Get it?
Yeah.
Multiplicity is the graphics in it will make you cringe. The comedy in it is brilliant. It's Michael. They're like, do you know about Michael Keaton, the person? He's fucking hilarious.
Okay.
Like all they have to do is say, "Hey, I'm gonna hit record," hey, Michael, do your thing. And he's hilarious. He should have been a stand-up comedian. Like, he would have been successful. Like, he's so funny.
You know his name is Michael Douglas?
Did not, but it was taken.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So he had to use Michael Keaton. His name is Michael Douglas.
That's actually a very popular thing. That's why Michael B. Jordan goes by Michael B. Jordan, is because he had to, like...
Wouldn't want to be mistaken for Michael Jordan.
Well, because, like, it's an actor's studio or something thing where, like, you can't have the same
guild.
name as some...
The Actors Guild.
Yeah, the Actors
Michael
Guild.
Jordan is probably a part of it.
Yes.
You have to claim a name in the guild.
Due to Space Jam. The one role.
The one role that he did moderately well in.
We made it 10 minutes into the new Space Jam before I started watching 8 Mile. It's terrible.
I watched it. The cameos in it are nice, but like LeBron needs LeBron just needs to pick his thing. Like LeBron needs to be LeBron. He doesn't need to be Michael Jordan. There's a difference. Like
that goes way past the silver screen and into everything. Like LeBron's this awesome.
Oh boy.
Oh my God! Down another rabbit hole.
Yeah. Hold on.
We can get out of that.
Let's tie up the loose end that we left back there. What were we talking about?
Thunderbolts. Oh what? Oh.
Or Dark Avengers or West Coast Avengers. They can go so many directions here.
That is the thing. Are you?
We were talking about Michael Keaton.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah.
Multiplicity.
Let's not go back down comedy. No. Let's back up. Let's not continue down the same thing.
Hey, Sony does these like. Sony decides to throw you curveballs on all these different characters, and they're hit or miss. Whereas MCU is almost 99% hits. Sony is back forth. But the way they did Vulture, it's not accurate, but man.
Yeah.
I felt like it landed hard.
Yeah.
It made to me, it saved the first movie way more than even Spider-Man did. Like, Vulture made the first movie for me.
Understandable. And I mean, and now they've set up for Vulture, Scorpion, Doc Ock, Electro. I think we're only missing Rhino and Green Goblin.
I'm ready for Woody Harrelson's Carnage.
I am too. I think Woody Harrelson will knock it out of the fucking park.
Type of actors.
Unless they fucked up Carnage in general. That's the only reason why it's going to be horrible. If Sony somehow fucked Carnage.
To me, they have fucked Venom.
Yeah.
But he's still good.
Venom was like a sleeper hit, though. Like, I think most people thought it was not good.
It made its money. But
I enjoyed Venom.
It's gained popularity over the past year.
It wasn't bad.
I absolutely, like, I want to get an entire tattoo sleeve of, like, the symbiotes on my leg. I love Venom, and I think he's phenomenal. And I really enjoyed the movie. Like, I don't think it was that bad of a movie. Like, I've seen some people have, like, bad reaction to it. My biggest problem was the effects as far as lighting-wise. If you're going to make a movie about a black symbiote and a dark gray symbiote fighting each other, you need to make sure that they're easily differentiable when they fight, because they slam together and it looks like one entity, like, which could be like, well, that's what we were going for. They kind of, because they're both symbiotes, they can form. But nah, there was no fucking way to tell them apart most of the time, because I was like, I'm sitting, and I watched it in theaters, which is the perfect place. Like, I can understand if I was watching it on my couch and I'm like, it's hard to tell, but it could be my TV. Motherfucker, I watched it in theater. Like, you made it to go on this fucking silver screen. Why is it not crystal clear I could tell the different characters? Josh doesn't like how, like, comedic they make the Venom role. Isn't that what you didn't like? Isn't that what you were telling me?
They should add
like
comedy.
In the wind. Cool. Yeah. That part was cringy.
There is some cringe to it, yeah.
It's not that the Venom comics, especially in the 90s, had comedy. I don't mind them paying homage to that by adding comedy. But I feel like they butchered the comedy. None of it made me laugh. I never laughed once. And then the action sequence, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Oh, wait, which one is it again? Which goes to what you're saying. I feel like they butchered some of the strong points. And speaking of Butcher Gore, the God Butcher, do you think that Gore, the God Butcher, played by Christian Bale in the 4th Thor movie, Love and Thunder, do you think...
You don't know Christian Bale's going to be Gore the God Butcher in Do you know who Gore the God Butcher is?
No.
Gore the God Butcher
great
is
villain.
Christian Bale's joining the MCU?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been like
What?
a while now. It's like
He's
been out for a year or something.
He's playing a villain that is. Do you want to tell the story?
You can tell the first part. Like I don't care.
It's a very obscure villain that made a huge impact. So he's not in. There's like Carnage or name a villain. You can name 40 different storylines that they've made appearances in and all that. Gore the God Butcher is like very kind of straight line. He's only made the couple of appearances, but he made a huge impact because he was basically this species that was highly religious, that worshipped the different deities and gods and all that, but they were suffering. It's kind of like a throwback to a lot of the countries here that are like the poorest countries that are suffering the most or the most religious and all that. It's kind of like one of those situations. And then he brings up to his tribe, his clan, I can't remember how they referred to it, but it was basically a situation where he's like, well, we're not being helped by the gods, so what if the gods don't exist? And they shunned him so hard he like left. He was cast. He was cast out.
He wasn't even shunned. His entire village was murdered. I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly,
I feel like that constitutes a shun.
His village was like mass murdered, like his family and everything.
You're like, hey, I get it. I'm shunned.
Later. I thought he was cast out for questioning the gods, and then he was doing his walk through the desert and all that. I don't think he was
cast out because he doesn't question the god until he finds. So it's
he
more
questioned
recent
the god's
thing.
existence.
Yeah,
and then he saw two gods after
fighting.
he was cast out. He saw two gods crash to his planet. He went to investigate, and in that storyline, it's not disclosed who they are. It was just two gods, and he saw them fighting. So he was like, "They do exist, and they're horrible." So like he changed his opinion on their existence automatically, but he was like, "They're horrible," and that was his opinion. Now in another storyline, you end up finding out that one of them was Noel, the god of the symbiotes.
Yeah, there is a god of the symbiotes named Noel, which is really good. Donny Cates, he wrote the Thor storyline from a few years ago, which is really, really dark, really, really like intense. But this more recent Venom, where you have Null who comes to Earth and basically, he uses Carnage to basically take over fucking people's minds and shit. Like they capture, they end up taking over Miles Morales for a small period of time, and a few other MCU villains and stuff. But Null drops what's called the Necro Blade. The all black. And so Gore the God Butcher takes it, and he goes on to fight, and that's where we follow Gore the God Butcher for a small period of time. But I think...
And then Gore has this sword that's almost like this symbiote power type of thing embedded into it, this all-powerful sword, and it goes into his system, and he becomes a God Butcher. He hates the gods so much, he goes on a tangent, goes off and kills dozens, hundreds, thousands of gods. And then Thor, as an old man, old King Thor, is sitting on his throne, one eye, old Thor. He's sitting around, he's like, where's all the gods at? And he goes on he goes looking, and he ends up finding out that the gods are dead. Almost all the gods are dead. Like a vast majority of the gods that he knew about in all these realms that only he knows about, we don't see, but Thor knows about all these realms, they're dead. And he goes on a hunt to find out what's happening to him, and he finds Gore, now known as Gore the God Butcher, has been killing them all. And it's this epic fight where he's way stronger than Thor. Like, he is hardcore, and Christian Bale is playing him in the next Thor movie.
Very cool.
I think we were both kind of right. I was looking up while you were talking, and you're right. He was kind of shunned because he was like, his family died when he was really young, and he went on and he kind of questioned the beliefs and everything. And so that's when...
Happy birthday, Brian.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Jesus. Oh, God. I didn't realize it was that late. But,
we can wrap it up.
Oh, no, it's good. I didn't even realize it was midnight yet. Like, I looked at my watch earlier, and I was like, oh, it's 11:50. I looked this up and immediately looked back up, and it was already 12 o'clock. But yeah, thank you.
Welcome to the latest episode recorded.
The latest recorded podcast.
Yeah.
But
for this one.
But yeah, so we're both kind of right. I think he was then shunned because he said, there are no gods because my family died. If my family died, why would the gods let my family die the way they did? And then he was shunned, walked through the village walked through the desert and found these. And Donnie Cates was the one who went back and said, hey, that's not just a nameless god that was there. That's Null.
So anyway, my last question for bringing him up was going to be prediction. If we're getting Gore the God Butcher, how long until we get Null?
Oh.
I think it's happening, but I think it won't be phase 4. I think they're going to set some stuff up so that phase 5...
How many phases are there supposed to be?
I think late phase 5, early phase 6.
That's the thing. This has never happened in cinematic history.
Right.
This isn't a series that has an end. It's going to go until it stops making money.
Going?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Westerns...
They just have to be creative and...
Westerns
with the
ended.
next things.
Like, Westerns ended... Genres end in cinema, but they're trying... Kevin Feige's goal is that this is the new comics. Comics don't end. You find new people to pass down. You keep the story going.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
And that's why my theory is that I think we're going to get Null in the next decade or so, and he's going to be the reset. I think Null will help jumpstart the whole MCU reset, and that's where it's going to probably break into the ultimate multiverse where they're going to allow themselves to stop being a connected universe as much and start being more of a we are a connected multiverse with all of these separate storylines going on. So, because like DC would be perfect. Like I'll use DC for an example. DC could easily go, we're a multiverse because that's how you have shows like Joker and the new Batman that's coming out, and that's how you have Zack Snyder's Batman or Zack Snyder's Justice League and the regular Justice League, the CW. Like all this could be interworked, but DC has fucked themselves over so many times that they've basically ruined whatever they tried to start.
DC is a plethora of great stories, but they have really screwed themselves.
Because Gal Gadot, the guy who's playing Barry Allen right now, I can never remember his name. I love him. They've got fucking
Henry Cavill.
He's been spotted at Marvel Studios in England.
Mm-hmm. Ruh-roh.
And then
I'm hoping for Sentry.
Oh my gosh, how could I forget the Viking one?
Momoa,
yeah, Jason Momoa. Like, Viking. But all of them are perfectly cast. Like, all of them are perfectly cast for these characters.
Jason
you know
Momoa
who's not perfectly cast?
He's amazing, but he's not perfectly cast.
He should be Namor, but...
Yes, I've been saying it for years.
You know who's not
he
perfectly
still could
cast?
be Namor.
I've always... before he was cast as Aquaman, I was like, Jason Momoa needs to be cast in Marvel as Namor. And then they cast him as Aquaman.
I don't know who Namor is.
Aquaman was a stolen concept from Marvel. Namor was in Marvel. It's a prince of Atlantis.
And Namor and Black Panther fight like all the time, don't they?
And Marvel steals from DC nonstop as well.
No, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
But Aquaman was a stolen concept from
Wow, and they made him way
Marvel.
less cool.
And the thing
originally,
Namor looks like Jason Momoa with short hair.
Yeah.
Aquaman was a preppy dude from Chapel Hill.
Yeah, basically.
They literally made him into Namor, not Aquaman.
Yeah.
I fucking hate DC.
Aquaman got pretty badass in the original Justice League animated series. Where he was like the shirtless king with, he basically had a big ass gold A medallion around his neck. Mm-hmm. Flowy hair with bangs. I'm pretty sure he had bangs. But that was a badass Aquaman. And I think that was their predecessor to, leading into Jason Momoa. People were ready for a badass Aquaman.
Yeah.
People were talking shit about him before they ever popped up. Before they showed
shit about Aquaman for decades.
DC was smart to not go with the comic book version of Aquaman.
This could totally be its own show, by the way.
Yeah, maybe we should start wrapping up. We could do this for in the next 2 or 3 hours.
No, I meant this could be its own show.
I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying.
We should think about that.
Marvel should have gotten Namor's character casted to be Jason Momoa. Short hair, because DC stole the whole Namor thing, made it Aquaman, and just let him talk to fish. Let's just throw that. Let's just throw that out there.
So wait, what can Namor do?
He
can't
everything
talk to fish?
except for talk to fish, basically. But
Well, he just swims fast. Okay.
No, Namor's a bad motherfucker.
Bad.
And he's
Who's
like
badder though?
he's an anti-villain
My
basically.
opinion,
He's an
Namor.
anti-hero.
But
At one
Not like
point-
bad as
Aquaman
in, like-
can talk to fish.
At one point, he was the first mutant.
Mm-hmm.
Before the X-Men did their whole thing, but
Uh-huh.
the first mutant was born in the ocean as this like version of a cross between humans and whatever. He was
You
the first mutant. Now is
Guild water breathing bitch.
Jesus.
he doesn't have gills.
How's he breathe?
He's a mutant.
He just holds his breath. All right, got it.
We can actually post this. We could post a photo on the Instagram, but if you want to see what Namor looks
I
like,
can't wait for the X-Men to be in Marvel.
Yeah.
I can't wait for X-Men to be in Marvel because he is a critical member of the Illuminati in Marvel.
Uh-huh.
which is
Great
made up of
storylines.
Reed
Namor,
Richards.
Namor is a good guy.
I think you're right. They're gonna keep going with this.
Yeah.
Like
It's the
this
new
is
comics.
new comics. Yeah,
It's never been done in movies. Marvel's doing it.
that's great.
And as long as Marvel
It's
racks
never meant to
in
end.
millions or billions of dollars,
It's probably way more lucrative too.
yeah, because that's one of the reasons why, like Fox and Sony and owned rights to all of these comics was because comics died out, and the only reason comics really have kind of picked back up was because of stuff like this, where movies started coming out and people started getting interested in like comics, like comic stories again, because they're phenomenal.
Kevin Feige was a part of saving comics, and then he failed, and yet he's got this second chance at it because, like, you can give credit to Blade as being the first successful.
Such a good opening scene, isn't it?
Yes.
The first Blade,
Yeah.
the like blood rave,
They're good movies.
where the dude like slowly realizes he's like,
They're good.
I'm around a
movies.
bunch of monsters.
They're good movies. They only fell short on being good enough to create a whole new
Like
genre.
a good franchise.
that would just
Or a
never
good- yeah.
end. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then Kevin Feige and his team at Fox were like, we can do it with X-Men. So X-Men were meant to be the Hugh Jackman, the Patrick Stewart, that whole Foxverse.
Go on.
That whole thing was meant to create this genre that never ends. But they ended up failing. Kevin Feige's getting his second go at it, and he's knocking it out of the park.
And this time, Kevin Feige actually has the resources to
Yes.
do it too. Because like when he was in the Foxverse, he had a select amount of things. He didn't have this grand scope of stuff. He just had the X-Men and a few others to work with.
How come nobody can do a good Fantastic Four?
Oh, it can be done. So it's
Isn't that
All
part
right.
of Phase 4?
oh yeah,
It's
coming.
because they keep restarting it.
Right.
They
No, no, no.
tried to.
But they
I
should.
feel like
I don't want to
but I'm
see.
just saying, like the reason why the first Fantastic Four was actually good. Like I enjoyed the Fantastic Four from.
Have you watched it recently?
I mean, it also came out in like the mid 2000s.
I know,
Obviously, it's
but
gonna
have
look
you
like
watched?
shat.
No, it's not. It's gonna look like shat. No, that's not what I meant. Like, have you watched it recently as an adult, and not through like the rose-tinted glasses of your little
I have.
13-year-old testicles?
I have, and I think that it doesn't hold up.
No,
overall.
it doesn't. Not
I
at
will
all.
say though that I think
the best thing about it is Jessica Alba. That's it.
I do love me some Jessica Alba in like Sin City, but I think the best part about it is Lawrence Fishburne's Silver Surfer. Now people forget.
What?
People forget all the good that came from the Silver Surfer in that movie because it created so much bad,
Lawrence Fishburne? Is that what you said?
isn't it?
Was Silver Surfer?
Yeah,
Lawrence
voice.
Fishburne.
he was the voice.
I don't remember him talking. So that might
Talked
be
a lot.
I was like,
He talked a lot, and it was the perfect version. Everything that Silver Surfer said in that movie is perfection.
okay.
Even the way they visualized it, they got that oh man, what's his name? Tall, super skinny dude. He's in the new Star Trek Discovery.
Mr. Fantastic. But
no, tall, skinny dude that actually did the body for Silver Surfer. He
Doug
didn't
Jones?
voice it. Doug Jones. Brilliant body actor. He doesn't talk in many movies, but he's the
he
guy.
he was in Pan's Labyrinth.
Yes,
too.
in Pan's
exactly.
Labyrinth.
Yeah. He was okay. I got you. He's the guy in Hollywood.
I just
the monster
did that,
guy.
and you repeated it.
Yeah, Doug Jones is brilliant at what he does. He was Silver Surfer that you see, and then Lawrence Fishburne was the voice. And if you can detach what happened with Silver Surfer from the horror that was the Fantastic Four and the monstrosity in a bad way, worse, horrific portrayal of Galactus, Jesus Christ, it was horrible.
It was a cloud. It was a cloud.
Shout out to Hasbro for making the Marvel Legends Galactus.
Yeah, if you want to send a couple
HasLab.
our way.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we'd be greatly
How much are
appreciated.
they?
It's $400.
I saw the
free shipping.
I almost bought a Peter Parker the other day. We were at a fucking card shop because can't go anywhere with Jake and not stop at a card shop. But sometimes we'll run across a comic book store they like to go into, and I'm like, that's better.
This
and I
Galactus
almost
is this big,
bought
man.
a Peter Parker. I've got it in my
He's
Amazon
30.
cart.
He's 30. The Peter Parker.
Yeah, I think. 25. It was 20 at the store, but I saw it was 25 on Amazon, and I didn't really feel like spending the money.
Big Bad Toy
When you
Store
say-
also as well is good places if you want like a.
Dork Side Toys.
Yeah.
Big Bad Toy
They had a
Store.
Kingpin too that I wanted.
The Kingpin is phenomenal. I've got him.
He's bigger.
Is
Like
he
the
the
packaging
Build-A-Figures?
is bigger.
He's proper.
Is it the Build-A-Figure or is it the whole release
Which one?
Kingpin?
Both.
There's
The modern version is the Build-A-Figure.
Oh man,
And then they released
we don't
one
have
on
time to get
retro.
into figures, but that's a whole
you ever
different
seen
rabbit
my-
hole.
Have you ever seen my collection?
of figures.
Yeah.
No, I've never seen your collection of figures.
Thousands.
Wow.
Um,
How'd you do it? Your girlfriend's pretty. How did you do that?
well,
We don't need to get into that either.
can't do that on camera. But
All right.
she loves it.
Did you just scratch my table?
He's like, watch this, motherfuckers.
No,
Call me out.
You're just like kind of talking, and I just hear.
no, my fingernail got. I was like, I've been tapping this groove in your table, and my fingernail got stuck in it. And I was like, ah! So I was trying to pull it up. So that was the noise you heard. Was I found this little groove, and my finger got stuck in it because I've been tapping it.
Yeah, I'm gonna start a show about like figures and stuff like that at some point because
Small Stuff Podcast Group would love to produce
Small Stuff Productions.
your Small Stuff Productions LLC housing Small Stuff Podcast Group. Small Stuff Podcast Group would love to produce your show.
we can talk
exclusively
because
for a specific percentage that can be discussed later.
we can talk. I like to be in control.
Oh, that's
And
fine.
this-
You can be in control.
And this guy's helped me out a lot. So, I've already told him we got a thing. We should talk.
What's your most valuable like figure or thing you have?
I mean,
Sentinel.
I ordered 1 year ago at 6:15.
Do you have anything like vintage?
Yeah, though that's not really my thing because I don't believe in collecting for the value. I don't believe in it
It isn't.
unless I
would-
love it.
I was going to say I love
If I love
Spider-Man.
it-
If I could get an issue of Amazing Fantasy 15, like an original issue, boy, I would shit bricks.
I love vintage stuff.
I
if
might might piss myself if I saw that for sale in a shop for like some ridiculously low price because they didn't know what they had for some reason. Yeah, I'm gonna wet myself.
So this is about 1/8 of the collection that I haven't sold or boxed up to sell.
What a fucking nerd.
Yeah. Nerd
Talking
and
about
proud.
like if I could find this, I would buy it in an instant.
Nerd and
Fucking
proud.
nerd.
I'd pay for that. Oh, you have one? You fucking nerd. I'd pay good money for
Wow,
it.
that's
Oh,
crazy.
you've
That
got one?
that Galactus is cool. I think I had that.
That Galactus.
I think I had that Galactus.
That Galactus is only worth a couple $100.
Oh, I didn't have that Galactus. There's
Well, no.
no way I had the Galactus worth that much.
You couldn't buy it retail. He was a Build-A-Figure. You had to buy like 12 other figures
Then I had his
that
head.
came with a leg.
I had his head.
Yes.
I think I had like half of him.
Yep.
Because I had a few.
Well,
of those.
half of him will sell for around $70 right now.
That's the $400
It's in a box
one.
somewhere.
That's the new one.
As well as I've got a lot of
that right there is a damn masterpiece of art.
Yeah.
It's got so much, and if it reaches 16,000 backers, he's got a port in his hand where he can hold the different, like Silver Surfer or Nova.
Whoa, with the skull.
Mm-hmm.
It comes with different faceplates. Because there's one storyline where they discovered that Galactus had died and he had been buried under New York, and they found him as a corpse. Then there's a different version, but that looks like the one where he was buried.
I thought he was too big to. How would you bury him under a
He could change
city?
form.
No,
He's only the form that you perceive him as.
So he also doesn't look like that.
I perceive you as a rubber duck.
No, he doesn't even look like that. We see him as a bipedal, 2 arms, 2 legs, human face because of us. He's this supreme entity that if he came to a planet that was ran by Skrulls, he'd have green skin, he'd have ridges on his forehead. Nobody knows what he looks like. He's from before the Big Bang, and he was this super smart scientist from a planet of what we would say is giants, these big humanoids. Original story, that's how it was. He was bipedal and all that, and he was a scientist, and he knew that the Big Bang had ended, and the big crush, the big squeeze, the big collapse, the big, whatever.
The big pinch.
The big pinch.
Yeah.
That was happening, and he had found a way. So him and some other scientists found a way to escape it, and they barely made it, and they all died except for him. He
Barely made it away from the paint.
Barely made it, buddy. And he was the lone
that
survivor.
close to the pinch.
He made it through, and there was this entity there waiting for him that was like, who do you think you are?
Sup, bitch?
Who do you think you are? Like, only we survive these kind of things. We persist beyond it. You're mortal. You can't. He's like, I figured out how. And he's like, oh, good point, buddy. And they made a deal. He's like, what if?
He's just, shit. Right.
I guess he's got a fucking point, guys.
They merged.
Terry.
They merged into a new being. So Galactus is this half being that has persisted beyond the Big Bang, has always existed, mixed with this guy that survived the last Big Bang, Big Crunch, Big whatever.
Yeah.
And it formed Galactus. So he has all the memories and powers of the entity, and he's got all the memories and technological, like scientific knowledge of the guy that survived it, and it created Galactus. When he presents himself, he likes to be able to walk around a planet. So he presents himself as like 28 feet, or almost 29, like 28 feet, 9 inches.
Walk around the planet in a swift 3 weeks.
That's how he's perceived when he lands on a planet. And that's what they're building. The Galactus that the Fantastic Four first saw when he landed, his first time he was ever in Marvel Comics.
Right.
Was a Fantastic Four comic. That they're building that height version because it's a 6-inch scale. So a 6-inch figure is representative of a 6 foot tall. It's called 112. It's a 112 ratio, 112 scale. So he's in scale to be 29 feet tall. Which, because the scale is slightly off, they made him 32 inches to represent a 29 foot tall entity. And he is miraculously sculpted.
Another fun fact about Galactus is he used to be herald to a guy who ate universes. So
I thought Galactus was the...
Galactus eats planets. And he was a...
So
what Silver
Devourer.
Surfer is to Galactus, Galactus was to a
Right.
dude who ate universes.
Right.
So that's a fun little fact.
Yeah.
And not a majorly known comic, so good job, man.
Yeah.
This guy knows Marvel, and I'm always marveled at what he does know because he's more DC.
You didn't have to
I
do
am
that.
punny.
Stop.
At least you don't have to
God.
work with it constantly.
That made my thighs
was a
feel
real-
weird in like an odd way.
Nope, that's my
Don.
foot. That's my foot.
So
My bad.
I think we should call it there.
Yeah, no, this was fun.
Oh shit! Almost 2 hours. Almost. Kind of.
When you cut it, it would be like 32 minutes for the layman folk.
No,
No, it's uncut.
It's
You
going,
literally
it's going
could.
just like it is.
You literally could make this into a good 30-minute show and a good hour.
Oh, yeah.
And a good hour-long show.
A bad
Separately.
30 minute show and an hour show.
Yeah. Anyway, well, thanks for coming by, guys, and having fun with me. If you made it this far in the podcast, congratulations.
You're my kind of person.
You don't really, you don't win anything, but
You get these awesome finger guns from us over here.
do you guys want to plug anything? You're not really here representing anything, but
I mean, I guess I let it slide that there may be something marvelous in the works.
Yeah, you literally said, I don't want to talk about any of that.
We're not talking about it. We're not talking
What?
about it.
We can talk after, but
okay.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
But
Check out.
check out Stumpy's Hatchet
Yeah,
House.
I was like, do you want to plug Stumpy's at all?
There's always going to be one of us.
But I've done it so many times. I just felt
whatever.
like at this point.
All right, go follow Stumpy's Hatchet House on Instagram, and you'll see Josh and Brighton.
It's
Follow.
safe. It's fun. It's
It's
probably the
BYOB.
greatest thing you can ever go and do.
It is pretty
Fuck
sick.
bowling.
It's like
Go
bowling,
axe
but
throwing.
better.
Yes.
It's like bowling
Yeah.
on steroids, basically.
Yeah, crack really.
Without the repercussions.
Anyway, follow Small Stuff Podcast on Instagram, and follow us on TikTok also, and follow us on Facebook, and subscribe on YouTube. Episodes are now going on YouTube, as well as clips, little tidbits you can share with your friends and family. I can't really think of a graceful way to end this, so bye.